Hey everyone. Well, let me do my little thing. There it is. There. Hey Bree. How are you? Yeah, I love this coat. Funny enough, it's cold here. So I was actually like, oh, okay. Here we are. Oh, this is actually an incredibly comfortable outfit too. It's because it's like a stretchy faux suede. Loves it. And I'm not even kidding. Thank you, Bree. You're very kind. I'm not even kidding though. Would totally wear this coat like out somewhere. But like I don't, because I'd be afraid something would happen. Hey everybody. No, I can't pin that because I have that pinned. Oh wait, that's cool. Bree. What your comments are bigger than other people's. They're hey Steven. They're bold. I wish you could see. Does it look like that for you? It does for me. That's so cool. Hey everybody. We are going to talk about the costumes of Game of Thrones using the official costume book, which I have two of. So I can display one and read. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, thank you. I love it. Hey Randy, how are you? That's so cool. So it gives like, that's great. Oh my God, that's great for ADHD. So it makes yours more noticeable. Oh, Surfboard, no, honey. I'm sorry. Did you see one? There's a lot of fake trailers for season 9 of Game of Thrones. Happy birthday what? It's gonna be May. It is what it is. Hello. Hello. But no, I'm so sorry. I promise though, if there was gonna be a season 9 of Game of Thrones, I think it would have happened already, but I would also be screaming about it. And probably not even able to talk about the costumes of Game of Thrones. The only thing, I know, right? The only thing we got going on right now is the trailer for House of the Dragon Season 3 came out. Thank you, Stitchwolf. I appreciate it. It is I, yes. Zeldrizis Bustari Ixos Door. Yes. Hi. Hey, new people. We've been talking about the costumes of Game of Thrones, and the costume designer is Michele Clapton, and this book is by Michele Clapton. What I do like to point out, this book, I paid $75 for this book because I got it when it came out, and it is only $38 on TikTok Shop, so you get to pay like half, less than half of what we other people paid for it, so it's pretty cool. Sky, I'm glad you're excited. Is there anything particular you're excited about? Thank you for the follow. Yeah, if I pin anything, it's gonna be like the lowest price I could find it. Lord, or it is it's pretty awesome. Y'all, this book is huge. Look at this. Like, other than the books, this is my favorite. So for 38 bucks, that's a freaking steal. And like, it does. Who's your favorite character? Who's your favorite house? It's not okay. It's not just pictures. That's the other thing. That's why I wanted like everybody to kind of go through it with me, because it's there's concept art in here, and then there's notes from Michele Clapton on how she got to this design, what it represents. Like last Friday, we went over Cersei and how she starts out in pastels, and she actually has embroidered birds on her dress. It's like a kimono style, and that's because she starts off as a caged bird, and then she goes to the Lannister red and gold because she is the lioness. And then it goes into the black and silver, and she's very covered up and very armored because she no longer has to use her attractiveness to get what she wants. Like, literally tells a story. Hey, Chris, thank you. Yes, Khal Drogo is attractive. You are correct. Thank you for the follow. So, Daenerys has a lot of costumes. And a whole lot, I would know. I have all of them. I'm the only person that has every single costume. That's my flex. That and Bree, Jessica, who'll be here later, and also Christopher. But we went over a few of her early costumes last Friday. We're gonna pick up where we left off, and then after Daenerys, what character would you guys like to go through after that? Because we'll just do what we did last time and take requests. Unless it's someone we've already reviewed. We might go through that like really quick for people if they want to. So we've already gone over Cersei, Yara. Hey, Foxies! Valardo Harris. Thank you, Jay. I'm glad. It's a very authentic Tyroshi accent. Thank you, Foxies. I appreciate it. No green screen here, man. It's all thrown, no rejection. Man. I'm awake now. I've had a bunch of I've had coffee. I'm caffeinated. But okay, so we talked about Melisandre, Grey Worm, Daenerys, Marjorie, and Cersei and Yara last time. So if no one has any requests, we're going to continue Daenerys, and then I'll go to the front. We'll kind of skip around the more interesting ones, if that's okay with everybody. So, last time we left off with Daenerys in her blue. And I mentioned to everybody that the reason Daenerys wears a lot of blue is because it's a very important color to the Dothraki. And a lot of people don't know that. So, every once in a while somebody asks me, like, I know the colors of House Targaryen are black and red. Why is Daenerys seen in blue so often? She looks beautiful in it, but why? That is her way of showing that she still very much loves Drogo and also has the utmost respect for the Dothraki. So, because she has her Khalasar, she's still a Khaleesi. So, it's a very touching thing, you know? Like, it's dragon scale, but it's still blue, you know? It's really, I don't know, it's really nice. And I kind of wish they'd had a scene explaining that really quick so people would know, you know? Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. But I try to let people know just because she does have so many beautiful blue outfits. Oh, thank you, Foxies. I really appreciate it. Am I reading books or book talking? Well, this is the Game of Thrones costume book, the official book by Michele Clapton is right down here. And we're looking at the pictures and then reading part of it. And then if there's anything extra I happen to know, and then just discussing it. So not just like just sitting here and reading. Nah. I don't really have the attention span for that. And most of like everyone else, yeah. I tried that, and it's just not, my brain can't handle it. I have to bounce around, or I just can't. It is what it is. But some people do, and it's great for them, and I'm glad for that. I'd rather talk and then read a little bit and then talk and then look at pictures. You know, like a child. It's fine. All right. Okay, so last time we left off, we're past Karth. We're getting into the blue. We have obtained the Unsullied, right? Bree, yep, that's totally what it is. I'm with you, sweetheart. I don't like season 8, Danny, but the fit, yes. As someone who was lucky enough to actually see the costume, the final costume Emilia Clarke wore, I actually got to be in the same room and view it. When I tell you it's even better in person, I'm not kidding. It is just, I mean, absolutely fantastic. Just stunning. I got to be at the Game of Thrones auction, Heritage Auctions. I've also had the pleasure of working with May of London, who made the jewelry for Game of Thrones, mostly Daenerys' stuff. I actually remember this time to grab that, so when we get to the appropriate costume, I can show you. Because May of London is an incredible company. They pulled from the archives for me, and I'll never get over it. Hey, everyone! If you just came in, we are talking about the costumes of Game of Thrones from this book right here. It's the official costume book. It was $75, but on TikTok Shop it's only $38, so it's actually a really good deal. It's like half off. So I highly recommend this. Michele Clapton's a genius. It doesn't matter who your favorite character is. There's something in here. So there's concept art, there's notes, there's this is why we did it this way. It's just great. It's fantastic. Okay. So last we were in Astapor, and Daenerys has obtained the Unsullied. They're free. And now we are moving on to Yunkai, which is a very iconic outfit. So, with an army at her disposal, Daenerys moves on to the neighboring land of Yunkai. She wants to show her solidarity with those being held captive. So, for her meeting with an envoy from the city, I dressed her in a simple long white gown with a stylized metal choker that was intended to look like a version of the collars the slaves are forced to wear. This is something I was telling my best friend about. You have to understand that two things. One, Daenerys very often, while she's in Essos from this point on, wears what looks to be very close to a slave collar because she wants everyone to see who she stands with. It's a very important thing. She's the breaker of chains, right? She also, this is something that's in the books, but it's not mentioned in the show. It's also very important for Daenerys when she is at any sort of seat that could be seen as throne-like. In the book, she never wants to be higher than the people she's speaking to. Now, unfortunately, they didn't really follow that. But in the books, wherever she sits, she's eye level with the people. Now, that does pretty much happen in Yunkai. Now, this is the outfit we're talking about. Most people very much remember this. It's a white gown, but actually has a bit of pink on the sides. And this is when we first start seeing her wear the slave collar. Also, I would like to point out Melisandre's right here. And Daenerys and Melisandre's outfit very often, most of the time, match. And Melisandre's outfit is in the same style as Daenerys. It's like a halter dress that's being held up with the necklace that looks like a slave collar. So they've got a couple pictures here of concept art, and which I like to show. And these are absolutely beautiful. But I'm kind of glad they didn't go with this because she's already worn a lot of blue. And the thing is, with Daenerys' blue outfits, I know the difference. I know how many there are. But it's kind of hard for a casual watcher to distinguish between the different ones. So I'm actually glad that she went with the white and pink. And from this point on, you do see Melisandre in blue, which a very interesting aspect of that means Melisandre has also, she's been around the Dothraki long enough to have respect for them that she's now wearing blue, which again, that's one of those things that most people don't notice. And I think it's very endearing. And it also shows something with Melisandre wearing blue for the Dothraki, because it's a sacred color for them. That shows that Daenerys' people, even though they're from different places, they're Daenerys' people. There's not just the Dothraki on one side and the Unsullied over here. There is unity. And I love that very much. And I think that's something that's left out often. In the books, you get a better understanding of that. Right? So Daenerys has 3 groups of people. She has the Unsullied, she has the Dothraki, and she has the freedmen. Like, that's the freed slaves. And it's not really explicitly stated in the show, but it's not like they're staying in 3 different groups. They are when they have something they need to do. But Melisandre's trying to tell you, look, I'm wearing the sacred color of the Dothraki. Basically, she's the queen we chose. She's the queen we chose. And that's the way it goes. Again, hello, I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. We are talking about the costumes of Game of Thrones. Here's the book right here. It's the official costume book for half the price I paid for it. I'm not mad though, I love this. Okay, this outfit, very interesting. A very popular outfit and often requested that I wear. Okay, so, all right, so Daenerys is in her private chambers. Jorah comes to visit her. Jorah's madly in love with Daenerys. And when he sees her in this gown, I wanted him to immediately realize that she slept with another man. She doesn't need to say anything. The gown says it all. The costume is made from paper silk. The shoulders are also paper silk, but stretched over leather and embellished with embroidery. It was one of the most difficult dresses to make because there's so little of it. It's hard to structure a dress when so much of the body of the gown is cut away. This dress is also a turning point in Daenerys' wardrobe in terms of color. It's one of the last times we see her in blue. I moved her into shades of white and dove gray to indicate she's entering a new period in her life in which she's almost untouchable. Dressed in these light shades, she appears far removed from the environment around her. The city streets are teeming with chaos, but locked away inside her pyramid, Daenerys is insulated from the rising unrest that threatens to destabilize her rule. All right. A lot of people just call this either the belly dress or the triangle dress. It's beautiful. This is what she decides to wear after she's had a night with Daario so that Jorah understands it's not happening. Right? Love this dress. And I will tell you, anytime I wear this dress, I do not move around a lot. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, the move from blue to dove gray and white is a very intentional move for Daenerys. Why? She starts with a dove gray and we're about to get into the white caped dresses. Okay. So Daenerys, in her outfits with the slave collar, she feels very grounded and very connected to her people. As she makes her way to Meereen, she chooses to agree to a marriage to a man she is not in love with. because she thinks she's doing the best thing she can for peace, okay? We see her start to wear just pure white. Okay, what happens if you wear pure white? You better stay away from any sort of dirt, dust, or anything. Like, that's the point. If she's wearing all white, then she's not down in the dirt, in the dust with her people. Okay, like, there's so much spoken through costume in this show. Like, I can't even tell you. So, you have to realize she's still figuring out who she is, what she's going to do, and where her place is. When she's wearing all white, she is not grounded and connected, which is why later on, the white is torn to shreds. I'm telling you guys, the thought process in this is genius. It's absolutely genius. That's why I get so excited about it. All right. The contrast comes to the fore in the costume I designed for her to wear to Marine slave fighting pits. Although she had closed the pits and ordered the slaves freed, she grudgingly reopens them to appease her political enemies. For this sequence, I designed a dove gray gown made from sand-washed silk with a neckline that's split into a V shape. The dress feels somewhat revealing, but is really rather conservative. I wanted to suggest that Daenerys wants to appear attractive, yet also be in control. To complement the dress, I designed a prominent silver dragon necklace that pays tribute to Daenerys' beloved children and honors her house. I created the piece to look as though this proud creature is comfortably resting around her neck. The necklace does not close or clasp in any way. I love the fact that her jewelry is quite sculptural and projects a message of strength. Okay, this is when you start to see May of London. May of London is a incredible jewelry company in London that designed some of the most beautiful jewelry that's ever crossed any screen. I don't have to show this to you. You already know what it looks like. Okay, this absolutely beautiful dragon necklace. It's even more beautiful in person. I can promise you that. They even alter this necklace, and I get to tell you about that in a minute, and it's so cool. All right, but just realize this for right now. There's the dragon's head, and then you see beautiful wings, kind of looks like there's a little bit of a tail, right? It's very elaborate. Just keep that in mind. Okay? So she's in dove gray, so she feels like she's separated. And then that doesn't last for very long. All right. See, this is why you need to go over the costume book with me. Because we're not just going over the costume book, man. I got side pictures and side stories and stuff, and I could do this all day. It's very Captain America. By the way, hello. I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. We're going over the Game of Thrones costume book. This is the official book. I paid $75 for it, but you don't have to because it's $38 right down here on TikTok Shop. Okay, so I want to show you this. And then you're going to be like, really? How do you even know that? It's fine. So, everybody knows what happens in the fighting pits. Daenerys has her first flight with Drogon. And I want to show you this. Because it's just, I don't know, it's just really cool, okay? That's all I'm going to say. So, I told you when she starts wearing the white, she feels disconnected. What needs to happen to Daenerys? Are you a dragon? Be a dragon. All right. She flies with Drogon, and then they land, and look what's happened to the white. The white is now black and gray. So literally, her flight with Drogon grounds her back to where she needs to be. It's even shown in the dress. She cannot stay in the white and the dove gray and do what she needs to do. Tell me that's not absolutely astounding. See, you thought it was just a dirty dress. No, it has meaning. Also, now let me see if I can find... If I can't find a close-up, I can just tell you about it because it's really cool. So the necklace that I just showed you that has like the beautiful tail is very elaborate. What happens to that? Here we go. There, that'll work. Hold on a sec. Some of this I just know. Some of it I learned at the auction because the book the auction created was absolutely astounding. Okay. So in this one, all right. So she gets captured by the other call, the Dothraki, right? And they treat her absolutely horrible. I can't even say most of the things that were said to her. Now, what I want you to see is... Let me make it brighter. That'll help. Okay. This is the same necklace. But look. The dragon has lost its wing in the necklace. It's because Daenerys has lost her power. Right at this moment, she doesn't have her power. And it's even shown in the necklace. Tell me that's not incredible. They designed the necklace to look like, you know, here, I'm the dragon. She's still the dragon, but she can't fly. Tell me that's not magnificent. Yeah, I know. Yep, I know. Even her necklace tells a story. So Michele Clapton would design the jewelry, and then May of London would go through this incredible process. Guys, May of London, all their jewelry, like, it's designed there. And there's a mold created, and there's only a certain amount of pieces made in that mold, and then, you know, it's retired and stuff. Like, oh, like somebody sculpted that, you know? Which I love that company. They're fantastic. They're actually on TikTok. You can look it up. Or if you need to know, you can ask me. Okay. So. Now, we're going to talk about a very, very important outfit. A very beautiful scene. I'll go ahead and tell you, the season 6 finale, when Daenerys has her fleet, like, it's so chef's kiss. Because if you'll remember, we have no idea we're going to get this shot. All of a sudden, we're a dragon. Because it's from Drogon's point of view. So, we're flying over the ships. It's genius. I love it. Because it allows us to see into these ships, and you see the Dothraki, and then you see in the bottom of the ship, you see the horses with hay to let you know. Guess who? Oh, the poison water? They're crossing it for her. Right? Okay? It's a beautiful scene. We get to see her fleet. We see the Unsullied. We see it all. Daenerys' time in Meereen ends when she's nearly assassinated by the masked insurgents known as the Sons of the Harpy. She escapes on her dragon Drogon and eventually forms alliances that give her the fleet she needs to carry her armies to the Seven Kingdoms to pursue the Iron Throne. The gown she wears as she sails to Westeros marks another step in her personal evolution. During her conquest of Slaver's Bay, she has shown that she can be calculating and vengeful in dealing with those who cross her. So her costume becomes much darker in color to reflect the growing darkness inside of her. I don't particularly agree with that. I would rather call it badassery, but I digress. I also wanted to begin to subtly move her closer to wearing the black and red of House Targaryen. The boat dress has a V-neck with metal clasp detailing that it is made from charcoal gray silk with metal accents at the shoulders that suggest her inner steeliness and resolve. It looks like the costume she wears to the fighting pits, but it projects more strength. So the white caped outfit she wears in the fighting pits. I'm wearing all white. I'm untouchable. Okay, well now we have a Targaryen version of it. And it's way more elaborate and way more I kick ass. Look at that. If you would like to know the scene, it is right there. One of the best scenes. One of the best. Okay, hello, welcome. I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. We are going over the costumes of Game of Thrones. This is the official costume book by Michele Clapton. It costs $75 out in the wild, but you can get it for $38 on TikTok Shop right here. Very good deal. Okay, so because I can, and you're captive, I'm going to show you a little bit more of that picture because I can, and I have reason. All right, so iconic scene. It's Daenerys with her fleet. She finally has it. She's got Melisandre right there. All right. So it kind of pans down, and for just a moment, you get to see, hold on. All right, it's blurry, but it's fine. All right, right here. Okay, this is a wrap bracelet. Do you remember last Friday I explained that the 3 heads of the dragon, like Melisandre wears it as a pendant, Grey Worm has it, and I told you there was a bracelet? There is. And here it is. This is by May of London. This is a piece they pulled from the archive for me. Yes, I'm a happy person. All the time. 99% of the time. God, this is identical to the one Amelia wore, okay? Look at this. All the pieces are made out of sterling silver. Come on. Where else are you going to see this? Look. This is the wrap part. Leather. Is that not so pretty? So Melisandre's and Grey Worms look just like this. Theirs are just on their clothing. Isn't that incredible? It's absolutely incredible. Like, I don't know how well you can see, but the dragons even have teeth. Like, God. And it doesn't really give, it's shinier in person, I'll just say that. So yeah. Absolutely amazing is all I can say, okay? Over the moon. Over the moon. Magnificent company. Magnificent. So talented. And they're so nice. So nice. They're on TikTok. Follow them. All you have to do is look up May of London or Game of Thrones jewelry. It's really, really beautiful. It's really cool. And to be honest with you, I like the fact that she's going, at this point, now that she has her fleet, she's starting to embrace the Targaryen black and red, because when she reaches Westeros, she means business. So it makes sense. Okay. All right. So right Okay, so that's the season 6 finale. As soon as season 7 starts up, that's when we have Daenerys in like the little boat, and she gets out and walks in the sand at Dragonstone, and then like everyone's like stands back and they let her have her moment, and she walks a little bit and then she crouches down and she touches the sand. Who remembers that? It's like pretty damn iconic. Like, it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal, I'm just saying. That outfit's very similar to the one she wears in the season 6 finale. Yeah, Brie, I knew you did. So, hold on, here it is. All right. So, she gets off the boat, she walks a bit, everyone stands back, she crouches down, she finally touches Westeros. It took her years and years to get there. And I think that shot is 10,000 out of 10. By the way, look at this book. This book is beautiful. Okay. There's actually a close-up of her hand. She has one hand on her knee and the other hand touching the sand. So, and if anyone ever wanted to know why I always have a French manicure, I can show you why. This is Daenerys' hand in that scene. Note the French manicure. Y'all, come on now. If you want accuracy, you come here. Do you see this beautiful ring? What's that look like? Oh, it kind of looks like a dragon wing. Kind of looks like flame. Yeah, I have that. That's right. Here it is. May of London, y'all. Look at that. Literally prize possession in my life. Made from the same mold as the one Amelia wore. Oh, by the way, we also have the same ring size. Will somebody make sure every hater knows that? Same height, same ring size, same shoe size. Isn't that strange? I'm not even kidding. All right. Had to show that off. Also, accurate. All right. When Daenerys arrives in Westeros, she lands at the former Targaryen castle, Dragonstone. For this sequence, I designed a fur-lined overcoat for her in an even darker gray that verges on black. The fabric I chose was patterned silk that has an interesting herringbone effect. In a certain light, it looks like dragon scales. I added a red pleated paper silk drape at the shoulder, which is held in place by a silver dragon brooch and a chain that crosses her chest to denote status. I felt that she needed a weighty, symbolic piece of jewelry that shows her strength and intent, and I wanted to use the 3-dragon sigil in the design of the chain. Now leading a vast army of unsullied soldiers and Dothraki warriors, she needs to look like a military commander. That is when we first get the 3 heads of the dragon chain. Okay? Michele Clapton made a decision that Daenerys would not want to wear a crown until she sat the throne. But she also isn't just going to be walking around like a commoner, Rhaenyra. So we get this. We get this absolutely beautiful 3 heads of the dragon chain that is very prominently showed in her costumes from this point on. Now, the fur-lined one is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to show it to you. Right here. It's just stunning, okay? Just know it's stunning. It's just beautiful. Right? Anyone have any questions? Okay. So, she has a couple other outfits that are very similar to that. She in season 7, you're going to see her mostly in dark gray. It's very military, which makes sense because of what's going on, and she's at Dragonstone. Thank you, Brie. And that's also what she has on when she first meets Jon Snow. And she's at the Dragonstone throne, which, by the way, if you ever want to see the Dragonstone throne, it's actually in Ireland. It is at the studio tour in Belfast. The whole thing is there. If you ever need to know where anything is that relates to Daenerys, you can ask me. It's either at the studio tour, it was sold at auction, or HBO has them in the warehouse. Like, I can tell you. So if there's ever any question about that. Yeah, I know. It's a very oddly specific flex, but you know, this is what I do, so it'd be kind of weird if I didn't know that. Look, I love Daenerys. I love Game of Thrones. I love George R. R. Martin. I just got lucky enough that I look enough like Amelia I can do this. But I love Daenerys way before I put on any outfit. Way. Years before. Years. And then one Halloween, I put on a blue dress, and there we go. But I've loved Daenerys since 2012. So, what? What do you mean? That's just weird. All right. Now, Daenerys is about to get into another color. It's white, but it's for a different reason. Now, before, she's wearing white because she's untouchable, and she kind of loses connection with her people. This white is for a different reason. After Daenerys meets Jon Snow, she briefly sets aside her relentless quest for the throne and is drawn into the fight to save the living from an impending attack by the Night King and his forces. When Jon becomes trapped beyond the wall, she flies to his rescue, a selfless act that cost her one of her beloved dragons. I wanted her to have a dramatic look for the sequence, so I dressed her in a white striped fur coat, which became one of her signature costumes. I chose white because it denotes purity, and her motivations for coming to Jon's aid are quite pure. She's fallen in love with him. The silhouette of the coat also felt romantic to me. It was something she would wear because she wants to be noticed, but it's also practical in the sense that it's quite warm, and it is. Still, I always thought there was something insidious about the patterning on the sleeves. It reminded me slightly of the White Walkers and perhaps signifies that Daenerys can be just as cold and formidable as the Night King and his lieutenants. So in one coat, it is white because she has pure intentions for Jon. She's in love with him. It is also, it's practical because it's cold in the north and she's warm. There's also some subtle dragon, like the shoulders make you think dragon, the pattern makes you think dragon. And then in the damn sleeves, it's showing she's on business. Please, for the love of God, tell me another costume designer that can do all that. Look at this. Iconic, right? Is that not beautiful? All right, now the interior of the coat is actually lined in brown fur. The back, I've got to show you the back. God, okay. Hello, I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. We are talking about the costumes of Game of Thrones from this book right here that you can get for half the price that most people pay. Okay, guys. When I tell you that it's absolutely amazing, I'm not kidding. Like, the amount of hours that went in to designing each of these costumes. And if you want to know why I appreciate them so much, it's because I was there. That's it. That's the costume I just showed you. That's me. Why do you think I appreciate it? Like, beyond appreciate. I got to see them. I got to see how insane. And this Y'all, literally, they were brought in for me, put on a dress form, and I was allowed to take pictures of the interior and everything. Okay, guys, this back that looks very dragon scale, y'all, you guys understand, that's faux fur that they have shaved that pattern into. It's shaved into it. That's why it looks so damn cool. Was I excited? Yes. Was I nervous? Yes. Did I tear up? Yes. I did. Also, just cause, why not? Okay, so, well, we'll get to that one in a second, but I will show you the pictures I took of the interior just because I want you guys to really understand and appreciate everything that was done. And just like I said before, there's the wedding dress and there's me. That's right after I got to show the guy how to actually tie it. Like, come on, man. Top 10 moment of my life. All right. So, the coat is made from a fabric that we created by mounting strips of leather and fur onto a canvas backing. We used short pile white fur near the top of the coat and longer near the bottom. I wanted the coat to have a strong hourglass silhouette, so I made the shoulders wider to help emphasize Amelia's small waist. Across the front of the coat, she wears her silver three-headed dragon brooch and chain, and I designed a pair of pale gray boots that would complement the lighter shades of the costume. I felt that the coat should have length and fullness at the back, so it would look dramatic as she's riding her dragon. That's why it looks like dragon scale on the back of the coat. So it matches Drogon. I also added detailing along the spine that would make the back of the coat look as though it is ridged like the back of a dragon. In the series final season, Daenerys wears the white striped fur coat once more, but there's a great deal of blood red showing through beneath the white, an ominous harbinger, of the blood she will spill in pursuit of the throne. All right, so this is the white coat. Then there's a version that has just a touch of white coming through the stripes. Not all of the costumes are in this, like, because then the book would be so heavy you couldn't pick it up. But luckily I'm obsessed and I can just show you because, I mean, what else would I do in my life? All right, so the second version of the coat, here we go. Do you see the touches of red? Okay, yeah. That's because blood will be spilled. Tell me that's not badass. By the way, this is what she wears when Sansa's a bitch to her. Winterfell is yours, your grace. Fuck Sansa. Thank you, Brie. All right. That's why she has that look. The people at Winterfell are not very nice to Daenerys or Melisandre or Grey Worm or any of the people that came to save their dumb ass. All right, hello. I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. We are going over the costumes of Game of Thrones. I'm very excited about it. We are looking at this book. This is the official costume book. Thank you. It is on TikTok Shop, 50% off right here. Actually, more than 50% off. So you can just snag it right here, and it's massive. It's huge. I'm so glad I showed up in your feed. All right. So we spoke about when she meets Jon and she's starting to wear the darker colors. Ultimately, Daenerys comes into a very different style, wearing simple black and red fabrics with just slight surface texture. Also gave her more aggressive silhouette that pulls her closer to Viserys's costumes. Okay? I wanted the transition that she makes in the final seasons to be gradual. almost as though Daenerys is drawn towards her brother's style without even quite realizing it until by the end she's fully adopted his look. Her final costume is severe, a black on black overcoat with dragon scales etched into the fabric. Seeing her clad entirely in the color of death represents the culmination of her journey from an innocent young woman to a conqueror. So, she is slowly starting to dress more like Viserys, but doesn't really realize it. And I always thought that that was really cool. So here are two costumes that most people don't even know there's a difference. Here we're meeting Jon Snow. There's red. And then over here, this one is it's gray, but it actually has a shimmer to it. You can kind of see. Okay. Remember when I told you that a lot of Daenerys' costumes are mix and match and people don't realize it? Okay, do you see this skirt? Same skirt right there. And then the other way they mix it up, instead of the chain, she has the 3 heads of the dragon pin. Over here, the chain. This is how you take two similar costumes, reuse pieces, and it still looks different. It's really smart and actually helped me a lot when I realized that. Okay. So this is the concept art that Michele did when she was coming up with the idea of a version of the white coat, but like it has red because blood will be spilled. And that, see, like that's the white part of the coat. And then she puts the red line right there. And then you get this. Ah, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so let me just make sure something. Okay, so let me see. Oh yeah, that one's after that. Okay. Daenerys looks beautiful in red. The most red she ever wears is when she is in Winterfell. And it's a bit heartbreaking because that is the scene where it's supposed to be a feast and it ends up being this weird bro thing where Tormund is like, what kind of man rides a fucking dragon? It's cringe, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. I love Game of Thrones. I'm not blind, nor am I an idiot. I can't rewatch it. I can't. Like, Tormund's calling him a madman and patting him on the back, and then Daenerys is literally sitting over there by herself. Unfortunately, there's a very, very good scene that was cut from that portion, and it is a scene that I was lucky enough to recreate with my friend Dark Loku as Grey Worm and my friend Aaron as Melisandre. It's a deleted scene, and it's deleted because it's my personal opinion that they wanted to take away any kind scenes of Daenerys that show that she has emotion and that she's not mad. But they're eating, and Daenerys tells Grey Worm, I'm safe. You can go rest. And then Melisandre kind of has a look and asks if she if she could go. And Daenerys, it's actually really funny because Daenerys is like, oh, do you not feel well? And Melisandre's like, oh, is it your stomach? You have a headache. Knowing quite well why. It's her best friend. She's giving her shit. And Daenerys is like, just go. So she could go be with Grey Worm, right? Oh yeah, Brie. Like, it's such a great scene. I hate that it was deleted, but we know why. But I just had to bring that up because it's really cute. It's very cute. And it's a really, it makes what happens later more heartbreaking. So I wish it had been included, but at least you can still see the scene. So this, it's dark in when they're feasting at Winterfell. So this costume really didn't get the attention that I think it deserved, because most people don't know how exactly, Brie, how red it actually was and how pretty. I love it very much. I think it's just beautiful. Thank you, Brie. That's very nice of you to say. Thank you. Hey, Khaleesi. Like, I will be honest with you. Aaron had cosplayed Melisandre well over a year before I even started on TikTok. The same with Dark Loku and Grey Worm. And I was so, thank you. I was so nervous the first time I duetted them, because I was like, and like they've been doing this for a while. And I was like, am I gonna do this or not? And then I was just fine. And they both like commented and like hyped me up, and I was, y'all, that was like one of the first moments of like, oh my God, maybe I can do this. They're both so incredibly nice, wonderful people. And I'm really glad I got to recreate that scene with them, because I will tell you, both of them are perfect for Melisandre and Grey Worm, the nicest people you could possibly imagine. All right, by the way, I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. Hello. We are going over the costumes of Game of Thrones from this book. This is the official costume book by Michele Clapton, who designed the costumes. And it's $38 right here. If you want this book and you don't buy it from TikTok Shop, you're going to pay $75. And who wants to do that? Really? In this economy? Okay. This is another outfit that I'm overly excited about, and that's fine. All right. Okay. So I love this costume. This is what Daenerys has on when Melisandre passes. It's absolutely a beautiful costume. I hate what happens. Love the costume. It's actually what I have on. And what I wanted to point out to you. Okay, so a lot of times you don't get to see the back of these costumes. Number one, you can really see from this picture I took, you can see how shiny the chain is. It's it sparkles in the light. I mean, it's really stunning. Now, what I thought was really cool, number one, the back, it looks like dragon scale again. But this time, like, it's suede. And I thought that was so cool. This is what I noticed that made me feel like a real badass. All right, so the interior of the costumes is rarely seen. The only people that really see that are the people that made it, the people that take care of it, and the people that wear it, okay? And I've noticed with a lot of the costumes from Game of Thrones, there are details that other series or costumes designers would probably skip and not deem necessary. I mentioned that with Cersei. Cersei's belt, it had the lions on the front, and then I pointed out, if you remember, in the back of the belt, it also continued with the lions, and her embroidery continued in the back. Something you're not necessarily going to see. But what if you're the actor? Are you going to want the costume that only looks good in the front? Or are you going to really feel like the character if it looks like it was made for that character by their people, right? Okay. This costume, I pulled back very carefully. Guys, the inside is red fur that is cut like the other, like the white coat, into a dragon scale pattern. That's what it looked like on the inside. And no one ever saw it. I was so impressed. I mean, it is like so beautiful. The top of it is lined in the same color. And I'll give you a little funny part. Okay, so Daenerys is, all of her costumes fit perfectly. I'll be honest with you, like, it's kind of difficult to get like a bulky coat to look so good and fitted. And I often wondered, how in the hell does it always look so damn good? Like, never a wrinkle, just perfect all the time. And when I got to view the costumes, I found out why. It's genius. Now, this might be something that other costume designers do or something. I don't know. But all I know is this. Her costumes have like this interior part that zips. Like, do you see that? That zips and like pulls it in. And then you snap the like, it's kind of like snaps and little slides that go together. I don't know. I just thought it was badass because I was like, wait a minute. So that's why everything looks so damn good and fitted. And it helps to give her that really like, because her waist is tiny. So it really helps to like just show that off. I don't know. Yes, Brie. It just snatches. I was like, damn, I wish all my costumes had that. But I thought that was really cool. I wanted to show y'all. Sad moment, great costume. And here it is. Very pretty. Look at that waist. Snatched. So now we get to the final outfit. When I tell you it's made of leather, but it's literally made of probably like the softest leather I think I've ever seen in my life. Oh, thank you. Oh, by the way, hello. I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. You might say I'm a bit obsessed with Game of Thrones. This is the costume book by Michele Clapton, who I adore. She follows me on social media. Anyway, this is the costume book down here for $38. If you buy it somewhere else, it's $75. It's huge. It's amazing. It's a wonderful book. It's right here. You should buy it. All right, this is Daenerys' final costume. It's pretty iconic. What most people don't know is that it starts off black, and if you look down to the bottom, it's actually ombre. It goes from black to maroon. It's absolutely beautiful. I got to check it out. Now, let me show you a little extra. Okay. I was amazed, but it also kind of broke my heart a little bit. Okay, so this is the dress. If you see right there, that is that's where the chain is pinned, right? That's the that's what Jon Snow did, okay? Right? That's what Jon Snow did. It's right there. All right. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, do not tear up in front of these people. Don't. And I was like, all right, I didn't. Thank you, Brie. What was really insane, guys, this outfit, okay, I had no idea it was built like this. I'm trying to find the best picture to explain. So you could see pieces of it in this one. That costume was made to hide a harness inside. Why? Because Amelia is lifted by Drogon. She's lifted. And the costume had to be able to have a harness attached to it to be lifted up. Right? Which you can see. Part here. You see that? Again, the same snatched. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It still had it. I was like, oh my God. And like, what was so crazy was like the back of it was kind of cracked and scratched. You could tell that it had been repeatedly like on the ground picked up. Look, yeah. I don't know if anybody else would have been as excited as me. Thank God. Look, the people at Heritage are so nice. And God love them. I was so excited. And no one treated me like I was insane. And I very much appreciate that. I do. Very much appreciate that. Let me see. What was so cool though is that like you could tell that like it had been filmed repeatedly just kind of by the way. Look, you see how it's kind of crinkly and stuff? And that it got that way from like, I don't know. I thought that was cool. That's just me. Also, May of London continues to make Game of Thrones jewelry. The iconic scene in this outfit when, I gotta give him credit for, when Daenerys is about to give her speech, she gets off Drogon flies up, and it looks like Daenerys has wings. Everyone knows it. Everyone thinks it's badass. May of London actually made a necklace that is themed for that scene, and this is it. I think it's beautiful. It is supposed to represent Drogon's wings behind Daenerys. Isn't that pretty? I think it's really cool. Very nice, very nice. Thank you for the follow. See, that's why I wanted to do this, because I like to tell y'all the extra stuff too. Thank you. All right. So that was the last costume of Daenerys. Might be my favorite character to talk about. I don't know. All right. So is there anybody specifically you guys want to talk about next? By the way, I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. We are going over the official costume book of Game of Thrones. It is listed right down here. Bree, yes, it basically is show and tell. Okay, let me look and see. Or I can just pick. I can just pick a popular. You know what? Okay. What about, okay. What about Melisandre? Melisandre, we could talk about Oberyn. I'm trying to think of the ones that like really are like, wow. We could look at Jon. Now, Jons don't change that much, but they do. We can look. Okay, you want to do Lady Olenna? We could definitely do that. Let's see. We can do that, and then maybe Arya's are pretty cool. We could do Joffrey if you wanted to, maybe too. Joffrey's are very elaborate. Anyway, all right. So, Lady Olenna. Queen of Thorns. Here we go. All right, so Olenna Tyrell. The Spitfire matriarch of House Tyrell, Lady Olenna, is a woman who rarely holds her tongue and who bears no love for the Lannisters. Lady Olenna's look originated with Dame Diana Rigg. She suggested a wimple. Y'all, this is actually really cool. Which we thought a great idea for the character. And it had the added benefit of eliminating the need to arrive early for hairstyling. No other characters wear this look, except for the Septas. Okay. Like, Lady Olenna she's great in the books. Diana Rigg brought something extra that I absolutely love. And what they mean by a wimple, that's what covers her head. It like starts here and comes down, and all you see is this. She literally suggested it so she wouldn't have to deal with wigs, and she wouldn't have to arrive early to be fitted by the wig. Tell me that's not genius. I mean, that sounds like Lady Olenna, like right there. I always love that. So smart. Everyone else is probably there at like 3 a.m. and she's like, I'll roll in around 7. It's great. Okay. Okay. For Olenna's first costumes, I used a beautiful gold and blue rose print fabric that I found. It was so perfect for the Tyrells that I came up with the notion that it was a print that they had commissioned for use in all their clothing. Olenna has 2 versions of a similar look, a long line jacket and then a shorter jacket made from silk, both paired with a simple full skirt. I felt that she would wear something quite modest, given that she was a more mature woman, but it would still be made from fine quality fabrics. The shorter jackets were more comfortable to wear in the warmer locations in which we were filming. The King's Landing scenes were shot in Croatia, and it had a sunny Mediterranean climate. For variation, we tried to choose the beautiful, high-quality fabrics within the Tyrell palette, and her wimple became increasingly ornate. So that's kind of what Michele does, like, for each house. Like, she kind of thinks of a color palette and then, like, what fabric she gets into the character. Like, what would they want? What would they order? What would they say it should look like this? So... And again, these are, like, Lady Olenna's outfits, like, we rarely get a chance to appreciate. But, as you can see, incredibly elaborate. And beautiful. Hello, everyone. I'm the Southern Mother Dragons. We're going over the costumes of Game of Thrones. And this is the official costume book, which you can see down here. And then... this is my best friend Jessica's favorite. The last outfit of Lady Olenna. Tell Cersei it was me. I want her to know it's me. An icon. Will there be pain? When that episode came out, oh God, the memes, the excitement, just absolutely astounding. Yep. All right. So, okay, do you guys want to do Melisandre or do you want to do Sansa? What would be more interesting? Or somebody else if you want. If no one cares, then I'll probably just go with Mel. The thing with Melisandre is a lot of people think she just has one red dress and she actually has more. I kind of like pointing that out. All right. Okay. What page is she? 310. Told you I love this book. Even the sand snakes look great. I know. The storyline, but they looked good. They look cool. Okay. So, Melisandre. Melisandre is a high priestess who worshipped the red god R'hllor, also known as the Lord of Light, and draws upon dark magic to assist her allies. The fact that she's known as the Red Woman was a natural starting point when it came to designing her costumes, but finding the right red was important. An orange red would have looked too warm against Carice's beautiful porcelain skin. So I chose cooler reds for her in slightly darker tones. See? Like, there's even thought like, okay, what red is going to look good with like, you know, her coloring and stuff. For Melisandre's gowns, I used a similar kimono style to those worn by Cersei, which we talked about last week, in the first seasons of the series, which open and close with just a simple tie. Melisandre uses her sexuality to manipulate Stannis. So in the same way that Cersei needed to seem available to King Robert early on, I wanted Melisandre to seem very physically available to Stannis. I also designed a lined wool cape with an enormous shawl collar that she could pull up around her head for comfort as she travels. The fabric was finely pleated and quite full, though it hangs flat when she stands. When she's on horseback, it drapes over the body of the horse and billows in the wind, which makes her look quite majestic as she rides, which I love that. We made about 5 different capes for her, some of which were lined with fur to help Carice stay warm while we were filming during those long Belfast nights, which, if you follow me, I recently interviewed Richard the Wildling, who is in Belfast, who spoke about the long, cold Belfast nights, but he had a great time. Okay, now I want to point out something interesting. Let me make sure she doesn't specifically talk about it real quick there, because a lot of people don't know this. Perfect. All right, I'm going to point something out and then we'll talk about it. Okay. A lot of people think that Melisandre just wears red, but I really like to point this out. Can you guys see? It's actually patterned and it's the same shape. Yeah, you can see, as her necklace. You know, this very distinct shape here, this hexagon. Yeah, it's red and then there's a deeper red and it's a hexagon all over it, right? All right, let me tell you why. Let me grab a little picture. Thank you, Bear Down. Hi, everyone. I'm the Southern Mother Dragons. And we are going over the costumes of Game of Thrones from the official costume book down here by Michele Clapton, the costume designer for Game of Thrones. Multiple Emmy Award winner, Michele Clapton, who is amazing and follows me on social media. All right. I want to show you this really quick. So we have Melisandre, and she's from the east. There's a lot of talk of Asshai, the Shadowlands beyond Asshai. Let me show you this. You saw the hexagon pattern on the necklace and you saw it in the dress, but, and y'all, you've got to understand, like, Michele made, like, she thought this out, like, for years. I mean, there are things that connect in the later seasons with costumes from the earlier. Let me show you. Anybody remember in Karth, there's Quaithe? It's the same shape as Quaithe's dress and her mask. A lot of people don't know that. And that's intentional. Isn't that interesting? It's the same shape. Which, Quaithe is quite a mystery. And the costume makes you wonder, so what does Quaithe want? Yes. So does she have something to do with R'hllor? Does she know Melisandre? How old is she? Who is she? Thing we don't know. But I like to point that out because a lot of people don't know. And I don't know if I can find it. Let me look. Also, because continuity is great, let me see real quick if I can find her. Yes. Okay, this is actually the picture of the dress from the auction. Okay, I don't know if you remember the scene, but there's a red priestess preaching to a group of people, and it's the scene with Tyrion and Bronn. And this is actually the dress she has on, and I don't know if you can see, but it's got this beautiful leather piece right here that also has that same hexagon pattern. See? Why would you assume it's a man, and why would you assume it's only one? Yes, I do. Let me just make sure I can't find a picture of her in it, because then you would remember maybe. I just always appreciated the continuity of it. Oh, wait a minute. And then there's, hold on. I know a lot of people wanted Kinvara to have a bigger part. It's understandable. Here she is. Now, this isn't the one I was looking for, but also when Kinvara shows up, her necklace is the same pattern, and then she has it right here on her dress. The same hexagon pattern. See? People can say what they want, well, to some extent, about Game of Thrones. And obviously the last season is very controversial. But what I can tell you completely is that there was never a dip in quality in acting, costume, cinematography, the CGI that made the dragons, and the music at all. Like, never a dip in any of it at all. It always looked beautiful. The costumes were well thought out, planned, made, the execution, cinematography. Just think about Spoils of War. Just amazing. And the music, I mean, I could talk about this stuff forever. Literally, guys, like, in the last episode, the song that plays during Unfortunate Times, it's a song of ice and fire. That's the name of the song. And it's literally got part of the Stark theme and then the Targaryen theme woven together. The story is even told in the music. The story is told in the costumes. Like, I can't tell you. This is why this show was a absolute cultural phenomenon. Like, everything was amazing. Like, everything. All of it. Yes. Am I fond of what happened to Daenerys then? No, of course not. But my God, everyone looked great. Do you know what I mean? So, now this is a very beautiful piece. This was actually at the auction. Melisandre has a much more elaborate necklace. Hell, it's more than a necklace because it goes over the shoulders. All right. So Melisandre's necklace, which we learn is the secret to her unnaturally prolonged life, was one of the most important things I had to design for the character. I created a geometric shape that looks almost like a honeycomb with a red jewel at the center. What I didn't want was a shiny red stone that would have been too obvious. Melisandre's magic is older and more mysterious, so the stone had to be much earthier and darker, like an uncut ruby. Ultimately, we fabricated a stone in resin so that it would have the right look. Much in the same way that dyeing fabrics in-house gave us control over the color palette of the costumes, creating the jewel for her necklace allowed us to achieve the exact effect I was hoping for with the stone. Although all the jewelry I designed for the series has a storytelling purpose, it's hard to overstate the importance of Melisandre's necklace. It becomes a physical part of the character and the source of much of her power. It keeps her ageless and beautiful, and its removal leads to her death. Because it would become such a focal point in her story, it was a piece that needed to be singular to her. And we get this. And you'll get to see what she's talking about, like the uncut ruby. Do you see how beautiful that is? And then look. See how it's imperfect? And that was done in resin somehow. God only knows. But see, like if it was, okay, here, let me explain. You know how we talk about sometimes about some fantasy series? Yes, it is definitely art. And there will be like swirly magic, or the costumes will be really bright and perfect, and it takes you out. Like Wheel of Time did that with me. The costumes looked too perfect. The magic was too CGI, and it just, okay. That's one of the things that Game of Thrones was able to avoid in an absolutely magnificent way. The costumes were never so bright that you're like, and everything looked like it was made there. You know what I mean? If this was a perfect ruby, it would look strange. It's old. It shouldn't be perfect, and it's not. It's not the same as a ruby that you would see in a crown for a king that's not nearly as old as this. That's the kind of thought that went in to all the pieces. I mean, it's kind of like when we were talking to Richard, and he explained that all the extras had swords. Like, that doesn't happen in a lot of series. Like, the extras will have nothing and it's added later, or they'll just have sticks and they make it look different, or it's plastic or foam. No, like they always thought through it. And that is why in Battle of the Bastards, it looks so damn good. Shout out to Miguel Sapochnik too, who I haven't brought up nearly enough. But we are talking about costumes. So, I'm just saying, every single thing was very, very well planned and executed, right? All right. Anyone have any questions or anything like that? Believe it or not, there's like still like a million characters to go over. Anybody? Anybody at all? Hi, by the way. I'm the Southern Mother of Dragons. We're talking about the costumes of Game of Thrones, which are in this book. This is the official costume book, which is $75 other places, but on TikTok Shop is $38 right here. If I ever pin anything, it is literally the cheapest that I could find on TikTok Shop, and $38 for this giant, interesting book is definitely worth it. Hey, Jared, how are you? Thank you for the follow. Let me see. Ooh, I have one I think I want to talk about. Hey, Hunt, how are you? I know, right? Okay. I want to show you a dress that okay, when I saw Daenerys' costumes, they're beautiful. And you know, I don't really know what to liken it to. I mean, I often say, you know, anytime I get to participate in anything that has to do with Game of Thrones, it's like Disney World for me. But like that doesn't even really reach it. Seeing Daenerys' costumes was like, I don't know. It was like a religious experience for me. When I tell you, it's like that's got a lot of deep meaning for me. I want to show you something. If we're just speaking about beauty, just sheer beauty, just a costume that you look at and you go, my God, that's ethereal. It is Myrcella Baratheon. Myrcella Baratheon. She has two dresses that look so delicate and are so beautiful that it's like breathtaking. So Myrcella, we see her when she's young, and then she goes to Dorne, and then we don't see her for quite some time. And she grows up and falls in love and loves Dorne. And I wish she would have stayed there. Oh, I'm so glad. So it's not like a whole lot, but I do kind of want to talk about that and then show you really quick. I know. Although she begins her life in King's Landing, Cersei's ill-fated daughter is sent to Dorne at the age of 9 and spends her later childhood and early adolescence as a fiancé of the Southern Kingdom's prince, Trystane Martell. Destined to become part of Dornish royalty, Myrcella adopts the revealing looks favored by the Martell clan. I wanted the Dornish dresses to look as though they were hardly there. So for Myrcella, I designed a bias cut slip gown made from nearly translucent silk. Bias cut is a technique used for cutting cloth that helps the fabric drape in a way that accentuates the lines and curves of the body. I wanted this costume to literally form to Nell's body, but we added strategic embroidery detailing to safeguard her modesty since she's still a young girl. I also designed for her a pink organza dress that has a fairy tale quality. It has raw, unfinished edges that are decorated with beading and embroidered accents that reference flowers and butterflies. She wore an embroidered bra underneath the gown. The whole look is very soft and ethereal, but she wears the dress with a Lannister lion pendant, which signals her loyalty to her house and the fact that she loves her mother. So I thought that was really cool. So this is the first gown. And do you see the embroidery is done specifically to keep her modesty. I thought that was really cool. The actress is so beautiful. And if you look over here, the back, it's just beautiful. It's so beautiful. And that's not even the two I'm talking about, but this is gorgeous. Okay. This. It's this. When I tell you, I cannot, it doesn't give it justice. It's way more ethereal. Like, I've just never seen anything like it. The color, the embroidery, the way it hangs. I mean, it's literally butterfly fairy tale princess in an amazing way. Like, it's just, well, and she actually has another one. Just such a beautiful color and perfect for Dorne. The other one I wanted to show you. Look at this. Look at that embroidery. This dress in person looked like a dream. It looked like a dress you would have on in a dream and then wake up and go, there's no fabric that could ever look like that. Oh no, it can't, and it's this. Thank you. Not really talked about a whole lot, but my God, look at it. I'm sorry, if I was the actress, I would be crying and be like, please keep it. And the answer would be no. But I mean, my God. It's just so pretty. I mean, and then, I don't know if y'all could see, but that's the bra, that part right there, for her modesty. And it's decorative, so it's not like you're not supposed to see it, if that makes sense. Yes, very much a princess dress. Yeah, God, I'm sure there's fan fiction where she lives happily ever after, God bless. Look at this. You see? I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not gonna lie. When this thing went up for auction, if I could have, I would have, okay? If I could have, I would have. And I'd just walk around in this thing. Thank you, KGV. Look at the ombre in the back. Look at that. And thank you. And pink's my favorite color, so yeah. It was pretty expensive. All right. Exactly. No, you don't walk in that, you glide. And I'm telling you, I think I've seen some really beautiful replicas. There's some really talented people out there, really talented. And that just amazes me completely. All right. This was very fun, very enjoyable. Again, the costume book by Michele Clapton. Emmy award-winning Michele Clapton down here. This is very fun. We will continue this as a series. There's a lot more to go through. Got like every character. Like, you know, Marcella doesn't have that much screen time, but that much thought was put into her outfits. You know, it's wonderful. It's absolutely just wonderful. And guys, we haven't even touched anybody that is a Stark. We've got all that. Sansa's outfits. There's so much to that. I mean, it's really cool. It really is. And Arya's too. I think Arya gets looked over, her costumes do a bit, but there's a lot of detail in her outfits as well, and we're going to talk about that. Yeah, Brie, seriously. You're so welcome. I'm just glad you guys are enjoying this because I'm really passionate about it. That's why I do the show and tell and I have the pictures on my iPad to make it, I don't know. I don't want to just show you the book. The book's amazing. I also like to show you a little bit more just because, it's my favorite show of all time. And I think there's a lot of things about Game of Thrones that people know the costumes are great, but did you know that the back of Daenerys' costumes is meant to look like dragon scale because she's riding Drogon? It's just little things like that. So I am so glad you enjoyed this. We will continue the series. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and letting me go on and on about it. I appreciate it. I love it. This is probably one of my favorite things to discuss. So I'm glad you like it too. And I love you guys very much. Be safe. Tomorrow, Jess, what time tomorrow? Jessica's been really, really busy researching. She's actually researching 2 different things right now. Okay, so what is tomorrow? Is it update and the other, or is it just update? Because I don't want to say it wrong. Jessica's delving into 2 really big topics. Oh, thank you, Lorder. I'm so glad you like it. Thank you guys, really. Okay, so Saturdays, Jessica's topic is it's been aliens, and she is delving into the conspiracies about the scientists that are coming up missing or are no longer around. And then also you guys know that she's been doing a deep dive into all the stuff going on with David. She's been doing it for months, and I don't know anybody that has compiled as much information as she has. So she's going to be giving more details on that because it's constant. And I mean, just when you think it's gotten crazy, something else happens. So tomorrow will be an update on what's going on with David. Of course, Jessica. Honestly, guys, she doesn't get enough credit. Jessica's covered the David case more thoroughly and given it's so much more layered, and she notices things that no one else notices. And you guys, it's Jessica didn't go to school and study criminology, guys. She's a natural. She's a natural researcher. She's incredibly intelligent and passionate about what she's doing. And that people ask me I want to go on TikTok. What should I do? My answer is, what do you love? What do you love? Because if your content is what you love, people are going to want to watch it because people like watching people that are engaged and excited. And she has got an incredible mind for detail. And she is currently working on something that is connecting the people that surround David in a really interesting way. And you're not going to want to miss that. And then after that, she's going to get into some really interesting stories about a lot of people that are either scientists or they are somewhere in the orbit of NASA and stuff, and what's been going on with them and where are they. You're not going to want to miss that. So follow Jessica right there if you don't already. Also, if you follow me, I'll be on panel, so you should get a notification. You should get a notification that Jessica's live, but if that fails, then you should get a notification that I'm live. So we're hoping for that. So that will be 8 o'clock Central tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a good time. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I appreciate your company, and I appreciate the fact that you find this interesting. It's very passionate for me. I love it. And I hope everyone has a good night. Be safe. And I will see you guys tomorrow night at 8 Central for all things spooky and interesting